Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here. I am all about coloring on Kraft cardstock today and using the June 2023 Unity Stamp Company Kit of the Month. Join me as I assemble this Father's Day card with a rustic charm and tips for how to color this beautiful sunset tractor scene. I've stamped my image on some Nina Desert Storm Kraft cardstock, and I'm using VersaFine ink just because I know it'll work well with colored pencils. And then I'm just pulling out a bunch of sunset colors, oranges, reds, and then green for the tractor and the grass, some browns, and some warm grays for coloring. I'm going to start out with the tractor just because I know I want it to be green. The John Deere green is pretty iconic, so I'm going to start out with a light color of green and just do a base all over the body of the tractor. I am leaving a little bit of white space or craft space just to kind of create a contrast between the colors. Next, I'm going to add a bit of shadow with a darker green, and I'm sticking to the right side, bottom right side of the image for shadow. Like my light source is coming from where my pointer finger is from my left hand, pointing down to the bottom corner of the card. So I'm keeping my highlights to the upper left of my images. Next, I'm going to add some warm grays for the chrome steam pipe on the tractor and then for the seat. Again, I'm just doing a light color first, and then coming in with a darker color for shadow. I'm going to add a little bit of shadow to the tractor as well. The lines in the stamp really give you a good guide. It does a lot of the work for you. You don't have to work hard for shadow on this stamp. It's really built into the image already. So just follow the lines that are there. You don't want to cover them up because they are part of the image, but you want to enhance them by just adding a little bit of shadow color where those lines are incorporated into the stamp. I'm doing the same thing with the tractor. I'm using the grays and now coming in with a black to really kind of deepen those shadows. Again, I don't want to cover up all the gray because I want the contrast between the colors to really make the tires look more lifelike and the tractor, but I'm deepening all those shadows with the black. Great, and I just keep going until I feel like I have enough depth in the image. I'm going to move on to the field here. It looks like it's wheat to me, so I went with wheat colors, a yellow for highlight, and then came in with 2 brown colors. And again, the stamp really does all the work for you. I don't want to cover up all that black of the stamp, so I'm just coming in with coloring over the top with the 2 browns. Just kind of creates a bit of a contrast, and then the yellow is really my highlight color. Moving on to the grass, I'm still just using the same colors that I used for the tractor. I'm a little more light-handed with the coloring, so it's a lighter green, and then I'm lighter with the dark green as well. It's a great way to get a variation in colors with the same pencils by how heavy you apply that color. I did the light first, came in with the dark, and then I came back with the light green to kind of blend it all together. Next up, I'm going to work on the sunset sky. I guess this could be sunset or sunrise. It just depends on if you're facing east or west, and they look very similar. I started out with the yellow for the sun, just kind of coming down behind those wheat fields, and then added a little bit of orange as a halo around the yellow. As I'm adding each layer of color, I am slightly bringing that color into the previous layer as a way to blend. And I'm being cautious by being light-handed with my coloring. I don't want to come in really harsh and strong with it. you can always build up color, but it's harder to take it away. So if you start light-handed and then keep building up and deepening that color, you'll be much happier with your results so you don't get so frustrated. Again, I came in with the blue and I'm blending it down into the previous backgrounds. Just kind of helps everything flow together so you don't have these really harsh lines between each gradation of color. I'm going to add a little bit of highlight to those clouds. I used the blue first, and then I'm going to come in with the white pencil and add highlights everywhere. Again, my light source is kind of where the tip of my finger is and the top left of my card, and pointing down to the bottom right. And so I'm sticking to the upper left of all my images and the shadow. The stamp again kind of helps you out here. I'm just kind of keeping to the top and to the left of the image. And then I'll just throw some into the wheat and into the grass, just kind of lighten it up and to give, again, another level of dimension to really make that image pop. It's just a simple little last minute thing that you can do at the end. And here's the final look. I just really love the look of the pencils on that Kraft cardstock. I'm using the die from the Duckle and Stitch nesting dies. They will be back in stock soon, so make sure you keep an eye out for those. And then I'm just playing with some pattern paper, looking for what looks good to me. These were all colors that were in my image, so I pulled them out and I'm just layering up and seeing which ones I like the best. I like the brown and I like the green checkered. They just seem to really match the farm theme and the colors I had going on. Now I pulled out some dies to die cut that sentiment. In the end I did switch things up just a smidge. I used the scallop circle for the plaid pattern, and then I will be using a smaller circle for the inside of that sentiment. But first I'm going to add some ink blending to all my layers. I'm using Vintage Photo, and this is just going to create cohesion between all my layers. This way all the tones are more similar and it looks like they all work together. So just doing a nice light blend all the way around the edge of every single layer. And this is where I wasn't quite happy with the way the two circles were layering. So I ended up using both the circles from the scallops and circles die set because I know they match perfectly. So let's start layering everything up. I just glued down the background that I had die cut with the Duckle die, and then popped up the tractor image. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of embellishment to that sentiment. I laid down a little bit of glue adhesive and I'm going to add some string, like string loops. Just thought this was a little bit more masculine than having a bow. I tried a bow. I do put bows on mail cards. I mean, we tie gifts with bows, so why can't a card have a bow? But I just thought that this fit a little bit better with the design, and I actually really like it. I think I'm going to be using this more often just because I like the way that it adds the texture, but it feels a little bit more masculine. So I added some foam adhesive right around the panel. That way my sentiment's going to lay even with the popped up panel of the tractor. Added a little glue adhesive so it'll stick to the panel, and then we have everything all nice and even. Finished everything off, I smushed on some more of that Vintage Photo ink, added some water, and we're going to splatter all over the card at the end. You can either do this just on the panel or do it at the end. I kind of like it when the splatters go all over the card. And here's the final look. Thank you so much for joining me today. Be sure to like and subscribe to catch all my video tutorials, and it really helps my little channel grow. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again soon for another video. Bye!